over a few things with you guys just to make sure you understand what we went over yesterday and make sure you're still good with that. So first of all, the most important thing to remember before any trip is that we plan and prepare. So obviously we are rock climbing, so you need your gear. So with me today I have my chalk bag, my shoes, and my harness. Now, since we are going to be outside all day, it is important to remember that we pack adequate food. But with food comes we need to remember to pack anything out that we bring in, and that's another important principle to remember. So for example, let's say I have this cup, I just drank all of it. What should I do with it? That was wrong, right? What I should have done is taken it and put it in one of these bags to carry out with me to make sure I leave no trace, because why? It hurts the animals, and I don't think anyone else wants to see any of our garbage. Second of all, you want to make sure that we're not leaving any trace of, let's say, food or campfire. So I like to cook warm food, so I brought my portable grill with some gas, but because of that, there won't be any sign of a campfire, also minimizing our impact. I also brought with me bug spray because bugs get nasty sometimes out when we're out here. And I also brought sunscreen because when you get up on the mountain, sometimes the sun will hit you just right and you don't want to get burned. That will be a very unenjoyable trip. I also brought food that's easy to package and throw away. So what you just saw was very wrong. So what should I do when I'm done eating this package? That's right. Whatever I had with me to dispose of it, I put it away and I make sure it's sealed. That means it keeps the trash in and any critters out. So it looks like we're all prepared. So I'm gonna run through a few situations with you guys and then we'll get going to enjoy our day. So let's say we're heading down the path and we meet a few other either hikers or bikers and they're coming the other direction. What should we do? That's right, we should step to the side and move out of their way. And what principle does that relate to? Being considerate of others, that's right. I know if some people were coming down the other direction from me, I would want to make sure that they got out of my way. It's just the respectful thing to do. So let's say it rained the night before and we come down and we see just a lot of mud puddles throughout the trail. Are we going to step around it off the trail? Are we going to step over it if we can, or are we going to step through the mud? Through the mud, that's right. So when we step through the mud, it allows us to keep the trail as narrow as possible to alleviate any trace that we were walking through and to keep any vegetation off the trail alive. So we make it down through, we get to our staging area. What's the first thing we should do? Clear any trash, that's right. So with that in mind, before we go, I'm going to pass out plastic bags to everyone. So to see how much trash you can pick up. Let's make it a game. Let's see who can pick the most trash up, and we'll sit and we'll think about how that affected our day. So once we're staged, we want to set up our anchors. Now, what is one thing we need to do when we stage our anchors? That's right, check to see if the facility has a man-made anchor already. And we want to try to make sure we don't wrap our ropes around where? Trees, that's right, because we don't want to damage the trees or anything any more than absolutely necessary. So let's say we cleared our space, we're all ready, and we're ready to climb. What's one thing to remember while you're up on the walls? Does anyone remember? That's all right, let me refresh your memory. So a lot of animals, especially birds, will sit and nest in the cliff. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want a big monster shoving their foot or their hand right in my nest. I'd get very upset. So you want to be respectful and courteous to the wildlife in the area and make sure you're not bothering them just like they won't be bothering you. Another thing to think about when you're climbing is the chalk color. Now, the chalk in my bag is white because it matches the rocks that we'll be climbing on. Now, no one wants to be on a wall where someone just used purple or red chalk. It's very unappealing, very unsightly, and it's just not being very considerate. It might make someone annoyed or just not as pleasant experience as they would want it to be. So I would recommend trying not to use chalk because it would leave no trace, but if you do, make sure it matches whatever color of the rock that you're going to climb on. And as well, I want you guys to think about while you're climbing, if you see any chalk that's discolored, different from the rocks, try to wipe it off. That'll allow the people after us to not have to worry about the chalk, and it means you left the area better than you found it. So another thing to remember, let's say you reach the top of the mountain, you climb to the top, you're all excited. How are you going to get back down? Well, you have two options. You can either rappel down. Now, why would rappelling down be better than climbing down the mountain? It leaves less trace, you're not going to be stamping down plants, you're just going to be sliding right back down, and you're going to decrease any erosion that you could probably cause. Now, if it's absolutely necessary to walk down instead of rappelling down, you want to make sure you're staying right on the trail to make sure we don't leave any trace that we were there. Now, let's say everyone got a chance to climb, everyone's had a good day, we're ready to leave. So we want to make sure, what do we do first? We pack out any of our trash. That's right, we want to make sure we pick up everything we brought with and leave nothing behind. Now, once everything's ready, we're going to head out, we're back on the trail. Now, like I said earlier, what do we do if we see people? That's right, make sure we give them space just like they should for us. And as well, stay on the path to respect any of the wildlife. Alright, so does everyone have any questions? Nope, alright, let's go. Alright everyone, just before we leave today, I just wanted to ask you guys how the day went for you, what you noticed, and maybe what we could have done better or what we noticed other people could have done better. Now, did anyone pick up any trash along the trail? You did? Good job. Now, when you picked up the trash, how did that make you feel? Yeah, it is kind of gross. You think that people are being really inconsiderate, because I wouldn't want someone to walk through my home and just leave trash everywhere. It's really inconsiderate. Now, did anyone notice anything with any other people we passed? That's right, they were rather rude. We don't think they were very familiar with the leave no trace principles, because they would have been considerate and given us space had they known. Now, did we notice any chalk discoloration on the wall? Did we notice any trash left on the cliffs? Anything like that? No, that's good. That means the people before us adhered to our principles and were trying to be considerate and making sure they carried anything out that they brought in. Now, is there anything you noticed that any of us could have done better or that anyone else could have done better that you probably thought would have made our trip a little bit better of an experience? Oh, you noticed some people brought really messy food and they left it everywhere? Oh, I know. I've had that happen. Those people just need to make sure that they are being considerate, because we don't want to attract wildlife. That can be very dangerous for the animal and for us. We want to make sure that, like I said before, anything we carry in, we carry out to keep the trash in and the critters out. Now, from today, I hope you guys learned important lessons, and I hope you will be able to apply them to everyday life when you're in the outdoors, and maybe educate your parents, any other people you meet, and just try to spread awareness for our leave no trace ideas and principles. Now, if you have any questions, I'll be here afterwards. Otherwise, you guys are free to go. Thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoyed your day.